Hi, thank you for being here. My first novel is written in the first person, which can be very uncomfortable, both to the person reading and to the people listening to it. So I think a trick is that you all imagine that someone has written you love letters, and I'm reading them, and the love letters are mostly about sleeping with other people. And then you can be like, oh, this is a very liberating transgression. Okay, thank you. Last night I slept with someone primarily due to our shared capacity for extreme misery, but you cannot give up absolutely that which brings you closest to who you are. I can never forget how joyful it makes me to share misery with another. I laugh more. Hangovers, too, are a special and distinct experience of being, and I feel more alive during them than sometimes otherwise. Mutual rejection of the rest of the world is hugely intimate. I feel great this morning after Noah, whom I didn't have to share a bed with because mine was just down the hall. You can say to another, creativity doesn't solve misery, and we cannot seize upon the generation of it like it's the antidote to a bad life, and he says yes because he knows, obviously, he's just finished his PhD. On Hegel, I tell him I've never considered giving a shit about Hegel, but it's cool. I ask him, is it conservative to prefer some people to others? It's so important to laugh, Jesus Christ. I'm having a hard time identifying with others at the commune, but he insists it's not a commune because there's no duty, there's will. Not under law, but grace. Max asked me what I was working on over chat, and I went straight to dinner. My enjoyment of and engagement with everything in life is so heightened when I've been laughing. Who gives two shits about permissive public touch? Thought is a moment of solitude, someone said during one of the seminars, and I agree. It's been a very special week at the residency, but I didn't get what I thought I'd be getting out of it. I never found the seminars totally enthralling, so I participated in only half. It is a place which operates under an ethic of freedom, but nevertheless, I have a stifled feeling to be proximate to a group of others I feel the pressure to be present for. We've all elected to be here. We've all nominated ourselves as each other's contemporaries as open, creative people. Supposed intimacy is immediate. It doesn't have to be one. I feel guilt when I just don't want to be around, when I'm just not interested in something. I don't think I'm very clear-headed when there's an ethic of pure communicability. It seems clear. The one who considers themselves more similar to and comprehensible by the other is the disadvantaged party. Even if you have no solitude or lonesomeness, you can find yourself anxious to spend time with whoever makes you feel most like yourself, to seek the presence of someone who fits you so well that you behave with them and through them as though they're not there. Are we better understood spending time with the diversity of people, or are we better understood spending time with no one? I still love Max, but drunk I complain that we have none of the same things to talk about, and how it's wonderful that nevertheless we've managed to make so much conversation. I love to cuddle with Max, to kiss his cheeks and neck. There's an angle from which he looks like the most handsome man there is. You think if you separate yourself from a feeling of conjoinedness and mutual surveillance that you pry back from the world a life that is more authentically yours, but what actually happens is just being miserable again. One articulates so well when miserable. There's such sharp thought in loneliness. Trouble is it's so sharp it's scary, and it's pathetic when there's not even a promise of an audience. So people become artists for the comfort of solitude with an audience. I had an online chat with Ivan last night, who'd gotten a tattoo of some made-up symbol signifying his own artistry to himself, so he can take off his shirt and remember because he chose, oh yes, I'm an artist. Is anyone in this dumb world even joking? Ivan and I argued about the idea of living an authentic or inauthentic life. I couldn't tolerate what he meant. Everyone's life is an authentic realization of their desires and values, drawn out through choices which invite consequences which further inform what they want within certain constraints. He says at the end of it that if you have regrets, you haven't lived authentically. I think, no, dissatisfaction is not the same thing. That's simply having regrets. We all get what we want. I want to be poor and alone with a diversity of friends, reading a lot, I guess. It's exciting and it's invigorating to feel like you have to win people over, because although it's terrifying, it means you're being challenged, and you can imagine a better world welcoming you. But feeling as though there's no one to impress has its benefits too, instability and sanity. One always longs to feel the opposite way. I feel good. Yesterday afternoon with Max after sex, he said, still glazed over, that he wants to see me masturbate, that he wants to see me make myself come. I said back to him without even thinking, I'll take that under consideration. Max says he knows when I'm aggravated with him because it's on those occasions that I'll make hurtful comments about his character. He doesn't ever about mine, but I'm on much better behavior. I even told Noah over email, coming next weekend to defend his PhD, that he couldn't stay here anymore due to an unanticipated advancement in a life that moves very quickly. He said, I hope you mean someplace good. I said, Noah, maybe I've stopped trying to make judgments on the quality of my life. I'm not miserable. I feel stress often, but it vacillates with comfort, and the comfort comes with little effort on my part. If I had more time to myself, I'd gain the perspective necessary to understand what is really going on. What is happening is what's going on. Do I want to decode desires? Do I want to reveal some truth about how our actions demonstrate an enduring teleological will? Little would bear this out. We are both acting in service of what we desire during the moments that we are together, to touch and to comfort. At the gallery, I spoke to a playwright who said of comics and actors, they are incredibly brave and incredibly desperate, and so they bring it out in others. I don't mind suffering uncertainty when the object of my affection doesn't make me feel as though I'm missing something or can't qualify. 90% of what's happening I'm not even doing. This is his complicated life, and I just live here. What if the only stressful thing about thinking that your desire must be wise and responsible is that it must account for the desire of all parties? If your desire is humble and knows that it knows only itself, it can be secure. And if you don't even bother to desire and skip straight to enjoyment, nothing beats that. You can say yes to something besides the void. You can say yes to something you know, but never completely. You can say yes to someone who says yes to you, audibly, decipherably, consistently. You can say yes without being forced upon your own decision. You can say yes with an optimism that helps trick you into the idea that it's easy. I try my best to stay positive, but I may have to wait for the next opportunity. Being wanted is worse than being unwanted. It's taken me too many years to learn this. Okay, I have no physical copies of this book, but there are pre-order forms if you would like this intimate reading at your bedside. Thank you for coming. Have a good evening.